Well, today we're back out in the mountains again, and you don't always get the views. Join us as we tackle Ben Challum. Those of you who've done the West Highland Way will recognise this bridge behind me, which takes you from Crianlarich up to Tyndrum. The car park for Ben Challum is just across the road from this bridge. Today we've got a really misty one. Now, I'm not as lucky as some other YouTubers who seem to always have the sunshine when they're climbing up Munros. Today, the cloud level looks like it's going to be about 400-500 metres. So we're not going to get a view from the top of this one, but it will be a wee bit of a test for our navigation skills, so you know that's always a good thing to start off with. So this is just a wee single one today, up and back down, and we're currently walking on a little bit of the West Highland Way. So if you're coming to do this one, you'll reach the point at the St Fillan's Monastery on the West Highland Way, where you would be turning down left if you're doing the West Highland Way. At this crossroads, you're straight ahead and you're heading up this hill. So down to your left here is the West Highland Way. We're going straight up and round. So that's quite interesting. That's also a path that I've walked quite a few times before and never knew that this was the path up another Munro. Quite a few graveyards around here. This one seems to be a wee bit newer than the one down at the bottom at St Fillan's. Don't know who's buried in there, but quite a nice wee spot to be laid to rest, I guess. Although, if you read the thing back there, I always joke that I've never been to Crianlarich when it's been dry. Down the bottom there's a weather station where they say that you get, was it 2.5 times the amount of rain they get in Edinburgh? It's apparently one of the wettest places in the UK, so you know, my theory's correct. Crianlarich, always wet. Never been through it in the dry. Who knows, might happen sometime. Now, if you are coming to do this Munro, just be aware you will have a railway line to cross. This is the main line that takes you up to Fort William, so not overly busy, but you know, take care. You'd have to be pretty unlucky to get hit by a train on here, but it's not impossible. Well, that's a good start. We're not even in the clouds yet, and we've managed to miss the path heading up off the road here. I'll let you see where you're going when we get down to the bottom so that you don't make the same mistake. So once you see the sheep feeding station at the top here, we're going to head across this path, and we're actually wanting to head, there's a path up there, so we're just going to cut across and get ourselves back on track. You would think with the GPS unit and stuff it would be getting this right, but we're too busy chatting. Yeah, we're back on track in a wee second. So when you cross over the railway, you're going to be following this fence up, and it's going to take us up and up and up. And we're going to be heading just off in the distance there, between that boulder at the top and the fence. It's a wee gradual climb. Hats off, we're getting the work out. By the time we get to the top of here, we should almost be in the cloud line, which I'm going to estimate is going to be around about the 400 metre mark. Yeah, there's definitely not going to be any views today. I don't know if you'll see down the bottom there. That's your train that'll take you back from Fort William if you're heading along the West Highland Way. Well, I was going to set up a bit of footage of us going over the stile here, but there's no steps on the other side, so just use the gate that's next door to it, and it doesn't even seem to have a hinge on it, so we're going to head through there, head up. Ryan and I have both decided today to, well, did we both decide? No. I kind of had a look at the Mountain Weather Information Service last night and it suggested that crampons and ice axe might be a good idea for up here today. I'm not sure that's been correct. So we've both got the winter boots on, which the winter boots that take crampons, they're really heavy, so we're both feeling it in the legs at the minute. Anyway, who knows, we might need them when we get to the top. We'll find out when we get further up. Right, through this gate and up to the top, and hopefully a little flat section for a wee bit. Just after you come through that gate, there's a small plantation where they've planted what look like kind of native Scots pines. All these trees would have disappeared during the Highland clearances when sheep were put onto the land, and of course grazing animals have a devastating effect on native trees and bushes, and you know, a lot of the trees that would have been covering these hillsides were lost back then, and there's a bit of work going on at the minute to try and repopulate the hillside at this height. I mean, they are slow growing when you get up this kind of altitude. Yeah, so that's quite cool that they're trying to get the native trees back growing on the hillsides again. So yeah, if you're coming through that gate, it does say if you see any sheep or animals up here that shouldn't be up here, to get in touch with the Kirkton farm down the bottom that you'll pass before heading up the hill. But yeah, pretty cool. Right, that's me got my breath back, let's keep going. Right, we'll see you further up. It's certainly a day where we're going to have to take the layers on and off. We've been getting too hot and now we're up over the top of this first little rise. The temperature's really plummeted. Yeah, I think we're going to have a cold one on the top today, but we've got all the right gear, so it should be fine. We've got about 100 metres before we head up into the clouds, so I'm going to spin you around for one last look at the view that we have at the minute, and then the rest of it is going to be a bit murky, a bit misty. We're not going to see too much. Okay, right, here's the view that we've got at the minute, and then we're going to head up into the clouds. So, as I was saying further down, we looked at the Mountain Weather Information Service, which is always a good idea to look at before heading out into the mountains in Scotland. They did suggest that, you know, it is winter. There was snow on the hill last weekend when we were along doing that small section of the West Highland Way from Tyndrum to Bridge of Orchy. Plenty of snow on the hill back then. So we made the decision today to put on the B12 boots that takes a crampon. Ryan's in his Garmonts, I'm in the Scarpa Manta Pros, but my goodness, they are heavy. That's one thing, if you've never owned or used a pair of winter boots, they weigh so much more than your normal hiking boots do. So yeah, working the legs much more than normal, and we've had 3 people go past us in more of what you would call a summer boot, and they're moving a lot faster than we are. But you know, we're taking our time. We've got the right gear with us if we do hit snow. I'm just not convinced we're going to need it. Anyway, better to be safe than sorry. That's the old saying, isn't it? Right, strange style coming up here. Very strange. Quite the balancing act, isn't it? You wouldn't want to fall up there.
Yes. It's my balancing I'm worrying about.
Jeebus. The styles go, it's not the most easy, is it? Well, we have about 400 metres still to climb up, and we're starting to see our first snow patches that were dropped last Friday. And you can feel the temperature starting to get a fair bit colder. But yeah, we're making steady progress. The ground's really boggy. I don't know what this will be like in the summertime, but certainly really soft underfoot, which is making it harder going. But you know what, it's another day in the hills, so nothing to complain about too much. Right, I'm going to keep slurping through this soft boggy ground, and let's get up and out of this hopefully. Right, we'll speak to you in a bit. Hopefully you'll be able to hear me over the wind. Haven't done a lot of filming. It's bleak. It's freezing. They were saying that the what do they call it? The wind chill factor. See, I can't even think, it's so cold. Would be around -10, and it certainly feels like that. So we've got about 80 metres to go. We're on the summit. We've just stopped for something to eat there because, from what we understand, there's no shelter on the summit. So we've now fueled up and ready to hit the top. Somewhere off in the snow is the summit. So we're just making our way along to there now. Even although way down the bottom up until about 900 metres there's very little snow, this is winter in Scotland, and you know, we've got knee-deep snow up on the summit here, and we're still 75 metres from the top. So yeah, just taking it easy, taking it careful. Yeah, we'll stay across to the left here. As Ryan says, you can never be too careful with struggling to keep the lens clean. When you're walking along the side of things like that, you've got to watch what direction the wind blows. It can quite often build a cornice on one side. Have you walking along that? I saw a TikTok video recently of, I think it was a group of skiers who stuck their poles through the cornice and a big chunk of it fell off. Now if they'd been on that they would have been a goner. So right, 75 metres to go. We're nearly there. Number 52, Ryan. Number 54.
What?
If you're Munro bagging, you'll very rarely get views at the top of the Munros if you're doing it all year round, and today, if I spin you around, it's a prime example of another day in the Scottish mountains where there's not a view to be seen. So we are back at the car. If you're walking Ben Challum anytime soon, this was left beside our car. Somebody has lost their Garmin somewhere on Ben Challum. If you're climbing that in the next couple of days or the next couple of weeks and you find a Garmin just lying on the ground and you want to try and return it to its owner, please send me a message. I have the guy's number and I can hopefully reunite it with the person who's lost it. Okay, and whoever you are, thank you very much for it is alcohol free, Brewdong Hazy AF, much appreciated. Right, I think we deserve we definitely deserve a bit of dinner at the Real Food Cafe in Tyndrum. That has been a very soggy, wet Ben Challum, much longer than we expected it was going to be. I don't know what the next adventure will be. If it's not another Munro, it'll certainly be the West Highland Way at the end of next month. So all that remains for me to say is go and create your own adventures, and we'll see you on the next one.